Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Look Forward. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Brad.
What an exciting week for all of you folks out there who don't pay for premium, because you're going to get to hear the stuff that we talk about behind the paywall at the beginning of the podcast.
Right up front, man.
Because our boy has run into a series of October surprises over the past couple of days.
Yeah. So, all right. First off, this episode is brought to you by two words: hypocrisy and discovery. If you hear those words throughout the podcast, you can scream like it's the Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse, right? Like, because there's going to be a lot of that this episode. Yeah, so-called pro-life senatorial candidate Herschel Walker, also known as a lunatic, paid for a girlfriend's abortion. What? Let's all pretend to be shocked by this. Look, the only thing that's truly, truly shocking about this story is that this did not happen to Donald Trump. That's actually the most shocking thing.
It's a little surprising.
That guy's definitely paid for an abortion, right? Come on.
My favorite part of the story is the is the fact that the woman who brought this story to light, thanks to the Daily Beast, literally has receipts to back this up.
Yeah, when you're doing your dirt, man, you probably shouldn't write it down.
Nor should you have a very distinguishable signature, nor should you sign that very distinguishable signature on a thank you card or on a get well card to the person that.
That's not good. Not good. Not good. A woman who is asked to not be identified out of privacy concerns, understandable, told the Daily Beast that after she and Walker conceived a child while they were dating in 2009, he urged her to have an abortion. The woman said that she had she had the procedure and that Walker reimbursed her for it, as you do. By the way, just pay straight up. What are you having her reimburse you for? This is not a fucking business expense.
Well, he wasn't there. It's not like he was with her when she was having the procedure done.
That's true. Why would you stand next to this person who has to go through this really?
I like how he gave her like $700 and the abortion cost $575, and she's like, I kept it because I'm at like that's expenses in recovery. Like that's the extra.
Yeah, she was right like, nah, fuck you. give me my money. So she supported these claims with a $575 receipt from the abortion clinic, a get well card from Walker, and a bank deposit receipt.
Get well soon. We hope that you get well.
That is not a real song. Damn it, Elaine. Jesus Christ. Can you imagine? And then she had a bank deposit receipt, including an image of a signed $700 personal check from Walker. The woman said the $125 difference was because she ballparked the cost of the abortion after Googling the procedure and then added expenses such as travel and recovery costs. Listen, this is hysterical. And I do want to point out why it's hysterical and why we are bagging on him and what we are and what we aren't bagging on.
Yes.
Because I don't want people to be like, oh, this is like a woman getting an abortion is not a joke. That is a very serious procedure. And I'm sure it was very difficult for her. I don't know if it was difficult for her to make that call. That's a personal thing. I don't actually give a shit about that. That's her personal business. But that's a difficult procedure to go through by yourself, right? Where your partner, in this case, Herschel Walker, is not there, right? Like whether you guys are casually dating or not, he is still very quite literally intimately involved in why you are in this situation, right? And so this woman had to kind of do it by herself. So we're not bagging on that. I'm not bagging on the woman for being with Herschel Walker. I don't know her. None of that. What I am bagging on is hypocrisy. There's that word. Hypocrisy, right? This is the same guy who not only is pro-life, which again, like, is his stance, right? I'm not going to bag the guy for his stance, his personal stance. That's his personal stance. But to not only be pro-life and then knowingly have paid for an abortion, right? You came out politically and said, I'm pro-life, right? This is not, I don't think anyone knew Herschel Walker's stance on abortion
Right.
ahead of him running. Right? He wasn't
pro-life with no exceptions too.
Right. And that's the important part. Is this guy was like, absolutely no exceptions. Meanwhile, he's like, here's a check for $700. Now, by the way, a lot of people don't know this. It doesn't say in the article, but this is a fact. In the memo line, he wrote, "Get rid of it." I'm kidding, but he should have.
I believed it for a millisecond. I
Get rid of it.
Like, so his rationale to her for why he said it would, like, and to be clear, like, he didn't like force her or berate her into doing this. Which, you know, what's funny is that, like, if you look at this story from an objective standpoint, like, Herschel Walker actually coming off like a good guy in the story. Like, he's like, you know, it wouldn't be convenient for me. And she's like, yeah, I agree. You know, well, yeah, well, I mean, we'll get to why that's funny in a second. But then, but he's like sending her the card. He's reimbursing payment. Like, this is like normal dude stuff. Like, you know, an admirable job by Herschel Walker. Good job for
right.
You know,
I still think you should have been there. I think you should have been there. Yeah. Like personally, I think you should be there. I don't know, man, just a rubber back during the recovery days. Like, you got to be there. Like, again, you are 50% responsible for why this situation exists. But yeah, like, outside of being there, like quite literally physically being there, like, he's doing what I would say are the right things, right? Like, hey man, look, I got it. Like, I'm not going through it, but here's a check. Right, like, I'll pay for it. Like, he's not trying to like lowball her. You sure it's 700? Like, is it 250? Have you looked at other prices? Have you shopped around? Right, like, he's not doing that. He's just like, all right, here it is. But yeah, to your point, like, everything seems cool, but then when you read it in the context of other things that we know, it makes it, somehow he made having like 3 other kids out of wedlock, he made that story worse via this story, which is awesome. It says, the woman said Walker, who was not married at the time, told her it would be more convenient to terminate the pregnancy, saying it was not the right time for him to have a child. It was a feeling she shared, which is fine. But what she didn't know was that Walker had an out-of-wedlock child with another woman earlier that same year. Well, fuck you, dude. Like, look, this is not a good time for me to have a kid. Oh, that other one? Yeah, no, I had that one. Like, I mean, come on.
I mean, that's why it wasn't a good time. Like, he already had one kid that he was not gonna support, you know, throughout the life there. So
one a year. Herschel is a one out of wedlock child a year.
And again, like, if Herschel Walker wants to Nick Cannon his way around the fucking universe and do that whole thing, like, that's his prerogative. But
I hate that guy.
I mean, I get it.
But I'm not a Nick Cannon fan.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, if you're not going to take care of these kids that you're fathering, then, you know, fuck off. But also, don't run for Senate and be like, oh, like, I'm the family candidate, like, I'm the pro-family, pro-life, you know, like I care about kids, I care about your, you know, the family being together and all this other shit, and just like, bro, like, you're having kids all over the place. What the fuck? You
can't stop, won't stop. Well, I guess he did stop here. This was the last. Was this the last child that he had? The one before this one, I guess. I don't know, and that begs a question: are there more abortions? Right? Like,
I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, it would not be shocking to me if another woman came out in the next week or two. It would not be shocking to me to be like, well, actually.
Well, we see this a lot where, you know, once the first, you know, stream of water comes through, then the dam all of a sudden cracks and
it's over.
It all comes out. Easily, to me, the most inexplicable part of this entire story is the fact that this woman has kept this card for 13 years. Who the fuck keeps a card for that long?
Yeah, but she also kept the receipt from the abortion clinic. Like, you got to remember, that's all tied to, I could have had this child, you know, type of thing. So I get it. Look, it is not as weird to me as like keeping a dress that has a jizz stain on it, right?
Yeah,
that's weird.
That is super weird.
Yeah, it's super.
I don't keep a card for 5 minutes. Like I'll read the card, like I'll take the money out that's inside, and then the card's going into the trash can. Like I don't need to hang on to it.
Oh, well, that tells me everything I need to know about your upcoming birthdays. Go fuck yourself, Brad. I'm not buying a card. Fuck that.
Mine was last week. You missed it anyway, you bastard. So
I sent a card. Did you even get it? You probably just threw it away. You were like,
was there money inside of it? I'm not interested.
Yeah. You just listened to it rattle, and it was like,
the weight of this card feels a little light. It's definitely missing an extra piece of paper in there.
It's like, get rid of it. Much like Herschel Walker, get rid of it.
Oh my gosh! But it's been hilarious to watch, and then like compound that with the fact that like so this story comes out, Jesus. Right, and Herschel Walker's like, this is bullshit. I'm gonna fucking sue the Daily Beast. They're going after me. This is nonsense. It's not true. This, that, or the other thing. And then his son, Christian Walker, the one who like the son that I guess the one that he claims. And the one who was when Herschel Walker first announced his campaign, made an obnoxious ass out of himself on social media, spilled all the tea all over the place.
He did. Not good. He's like, it's like, look what you did to my family, my mother and I. You lied, and that's where that's his basis, right? Like why he's coming out and like yelling at conservatives, saying like, listen, like it's the lies that are bothering me, right? Like not the other aspects of my father being like clearly unqualified and a dangerous person, but it's that he's lying about his family situation. And he also had some words for like people on the left. He said, listen, you're asking me why I kept talking about like fathers need to be in the home is like, because that was close to me. And I'm like, I get it, but that's kind of bullshit because you were saying it in the same way your dad was saying it, which was a judgmental aspect about other people. You never said it in like, my father wasn't there and I really wish my father was there. Like, because you could frame that positively, right? Like it doesn't actually have to be framed in a way that you're shitting on Herschel Walker. Like, look, my dad wasn't there for me growing up. Like my dad's in my life now and I see how important it is. And I really think black fathers should be there for their kids and everything else, right? Like my father's not a perfect man, but like he got it together and like people like that story, right? People like a hero story. They like a, sort of you come in at the end type of story. You could play that, but that's not how he was saying it. He was saying it in a judgment of other black men about whether or not they were at home with their children. Well, you hypocritical piece of shit. Like, meanwhile, you're pumping up your dad to be a congressman. Yeah. Because you get access and all this other shit. Because keep in mind, like, he's not completely innocent as far as like his aspirations either. Because I've seen him pop up on like other young political like media programs and stuff like that. He also likes being involved in all of that. Oh,
shit. He wants to raise his profile. He wants to get his Q rating up there. Not sorry, that term means like people think it probably means something different nowadays. Now that
I know it's been
called. Yeah.
His QAnon rating. I got it.
Well, and so the best part is like the veracity, the fact the story is reported, the fact that like he like that his son basically like went out there and was like, yeah, like my dad's a piece of shit, like he lied about all this stuff, is blatantly forcing Republicans to show the hypocrisy across the board.
Oh yeah.
Right. Because like they can't run away from this story. Like he literally signed a fucking card and his signature is literally like very unique.
He signed it like he was signing like a football. Like he gave him the big H. Like, dude, come on, man. Like that's his signature. Knock it off.
So you have people like there was one. This wasn't an official account. This was just some random dude on Twitter, but like it perfectly encapsulated the situation where he replied to Christian Walker and was like, please, not until after the election. He's just like, man, I know that your dad's a piece of shit, but we really want to win. Eric Erickson immediately went out in the wake of the story and was like, oh, like, this isn't a big deal. People can change, blah, blah, blah. And, like, even if it is true, and people were just like, bro, he said he's suing the paper. So according to him, it's not true. So why the fuck are you rushing to his defense in this
well,
way.
he wrote on Substack that this is completely unsubstantiated, right? Like that. Then he like unsubstantiated. You know, she's got like literal receipts, like literal. Like she didn't just come out and say, "Hey, this guy and I had sex. He had me. Him and I agreed to have an abortion." That's it. Nah, dude. She got a card. She's got a bank deposit receipt, dude. Like I thought for a second. Like, and I hate to put this out here because like it's actually a clever political move. It's something I would do, right? It is 100% something I would do. At first I thought, well, is this like a bullshit, is this a bullshit like, 40 chess move, right? You put this story out, it's bullshit. All these liberal organizations, Daily Beast and everything, run at this story. They're like, oh, we got Herschel Walker. And then you come out and be like, turns out it was false, right? And then it actually boosts Herschel Walker. Like, see, the media's against me, right? And they're against you, right? Like, I was like, is that what this could be? Because it's, this guy's an idiot, right? Like, he's winning in the polls. But again, 5 weeks is a long time. And also, like, people have the memories of goldfish. Like, 5 weeks... 5 weeks is an eternity in politics. I was like, well, is this like a 4D chess kind of thing? And then I realized, nah, dude, you know how much trouble you could get in faking a bank deposit receipt? That's fraud. No, dude, this is real. Like, this is real. And that's why you shouldn't take it as like, oh, it's unsubstantiated. No, that's a dangerous game to play, to be like, here's a fake bank deposit. They're like, all right, cool. What bank was it? We're about to sue the shit out of you. Like, no, nobody wants that kind of smoke, dude.
Well, and here's where the goalpost ended up, because Dana Loesch, formerly of the NRA, now some conservative commentator on some bullshit platform.
Also seller of 3 beets. I don't know if you know that. It's a beet formula like that helps with health. It's called like 3 beets. It's got 3 whole beets in it.
You tried to like move in on the InfoWars grift or something like that.
I mean, yeah, like I'll find it. Like that's her thing. Like she's
I don't think you've seen this, because this is relatively recent. Here's a quote from her on whatever fucking platform she's streaming on tonight. Quote: "I don't care if Herschel Walker paid to abort endangered baby eagles. I want control of the Senate."
Cool. Super.
I mean, points,
by the way.
Points for honesty. Points for honesty that that you're just letting the mask fall off. But then don't come out here and be the party of family values and of anti-abortion, all this other shit.
I mean, look, this is a joke, right? Like, all of this is a fucking joke from them. I mean, they're like, I saw a bunch of conservatives saying like, oh, I'm still with you, Herschel. I still stand for Herschel. Stand with Herschel. I don't ever want to hear Republicans talk about the standards by which Democrats and Republicans play it. Because Republicans will be like, oh, you held a gun to your ex-wife's head. You threatened to kill your ex-wife and your child. You've had multiple children. You've had multiple children out of wedlock. You've had abortion. You've had at least one abortion, by the way. Hard to believe it's just one, right? You've done all of this, and they're like sticking with you. Dude, Democrats are like, oh, you did one thing? No. We're done. We're out. Democrats have no problem in walking away from a candidate. None. They don't do that like, we stick by you no matter what shit. No, the fuck they don't. We have a hard time getting people to stick by candidates who they agree with most of the time.
Right.
Let alone if there's a massive fucking scandal. When's the last time it was a massive scandal on a Democrat that people have just like, nah, fuck it, don't worry about it? No.
I mean, in the lead up to the election, during the primaries in 2020, like there were people that were like, Joe Biden is solely responsible for Clarence Thomas being on the Supreme Court and badgering Anita Hill. I'm like, yes, did he fuck up during that Supreme Court nomination?
Yeah.
Absolutely. He said as much. Like he's come out there admitted it. But like that's like normal, like doing your job stuff kind of like the kind of thing. And like like many progressives were like, well, this is disqualifying. This is disqualifying as a candidate.
Right. And look, I get that perspective, but to be that rigid to me has never made sense. Right. But like, that's why you got the Supreme Court justice you just got.
Yeah.
Hello,
Joe,
that was
Joe
that,
Biden.
that was
Joe Biden
that
wrote
was
the crime bill. He wrote
I'm
the crime bill
sorry.
in 1993. He was solely responsible for the crime
He's
bill.
the only person who signed it. He's the only person who signed it.
That's right.
Really?
One senator from Delaware was able to make sweeping change across the entire country.
You should probably check to see
Unilaterally.
you should probably check what the senator from Vermont was doing at the time. It might surprise you. Well, he apologized. Oh, is it different? Oh, that's weird. Weird.
And again, Joe Biden's take on that was completely measured. Like, yeah, like, is it a mistake in hindsight? Absolutely. Was it the right decision at the time? Probably. Like, but it didn't, shit didn't work out the way that it did. That's why we repealed a lot of it. So,
hey, spoiler alert. Every black fucking politician at the time, every black Congress member and every black governor, every black mayor in the entire country supported that bill. Every one of them. Don't just, like, I hate that. It was Joe Biden. Was he the only motherfucker there that showed up that day? No. Get the fuck out of here. Black people were also calling for that shit. Were they wrong? Yes. It's okay to be like, they were wrong too. It's fine. You don't have to pretend like it was only him. That's dumb.
You also
and
can't
that's not defending him. That's just like,
like, you didn't have a crystal ball at the time. Like we know it was fucked up now because we have the benefit of seeing how it played out. Like, you didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah, Again, like, that type of shit is stupid to me. Like, it's
But getting back to Herschel Walker though, like, you saw the interview, right, that he did with that one. I can't remember who it was, but it was like was so unfavorable. And they asked him about like the domestic violence, like, oh, you held a gun to your ex-wife's head. He's like, they're trying to get me on some shit that I did 15 years ago, and let he that is without sin cast the first stone. Like, bro, it's like we're not interviewing you for a fucking job at a Denny's. Like you're you're running to be a senator of a state.
Yeah, like, what's the big deal? Have we all not held a loaded gun to our ex-wives?
Who among us hasn't and
tried to murder our ex-wife?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus probably did that, right? Right, guys? Me, Jesus, like, same guy. Can you even tell the difference? Yeah, he's a fucking lunatic. He's a fucking lunatic. And Republicans, I don't know what Herschel Walker needs to do for them to be like, this feels like a bad idea.
What could he do? Aaron Rupar went online today and is like this proves, I feel like, that literally Satan could run for office and get like 45% of the vote in this country because of Republicans. Like, if he ran as a Republican, and then someone pointed out, and you do it while calling the Democratic candidate the actual Satan, or like the real Satan. Like, I'm not the real Satan. Like, this guy.
This guy's the Antichrist. I'm Satan, but this guy's the Antichrist. Think about it. Yeah, I mean, it's just.
Do the part that party's at sea. Like they're just at sea. They're just adrift in. It is.
It's a.
What else? I mean, what else can you call it at this point? Like, you were willing to go to the mat for these fucking assholes just because your fucking orange god, like, puts his support behind this dude.
Like
you said, what could he do? What could he do?
I mean, literally this week we've had Republican, like, I forget who it was, a Republican candidate. It might have been Mastriano, who said, like, he is totally fine with seeking, like, charging women who get abortions with murder. He's fine with that. Yet at the same time, you've got a senatorial candidate in the same party who paid for an abortion. That's a part of a crime by Doug Mastriano's by their definition. Right. Like, he's basically the getaway driver in a bank robbery that goes bad, right? That's felony murder, right? Like, you put people in real ass jail for that shit. So, or accessory to murder, right? But yet the party somehow can go, Doug Mastriano is completely correct in that statement. I back him. Herschel Walker, also correct. I back him. People can change. Again, when Democrats and women specifically say that this isn't about anything but controlling women, they're 100% correct.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not about policy or anything. It's not about God. It's not about religion. It's about controlling women fundamentally. If you can look past Herschel Walker quite literally signing his name on the dotted fucking line, get rid of it. If you're okay to look past that, but not okay if a woman is suffering to do it, to have the procedure done, you're a fucking hypocritical piece of shit. But hypocrisy is the point, right? It's the point.
And,
They know
it knows no bounds.
It really
within that party. Like literally every stance that they come out about over the past like 6, 7, 8 years, and probably longer than that, but really like clearly in this past time period, is all projection. Like it's all stuff that they themselves are guilty of doing and continue to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it never stops. It just never fucking stops. They, like I said, they love talking the talk, but they're like, oh, you want us to actually walk the walk too? Like you want us to like actually adhere to the morals and to the principles that we strive to be for? Like that's not very convenient to me.
Yeah, it's not really hitting the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
And look, one last thing. He says that he's going to sue this woman, right? Because in reality,
he says he's going to sue the Daily Beast, and then someone asked his campaign for comment. They're like, we haven't made any strategic decisions as far as what we're doing.
But this is what he says, right? He says he's going to sue. Here's the thing about suing, and more on this later. A lot of suing going on this week. Here's the thing about suing. There's a little aspect of suing called discovery. There's that second word. If you do this, if you go after the Daily Beast, or if you go after this woman, guess what? Herschel Walker knows who it is. Of course he does. Why would he not know?
He's under the card.
He's like, fucking Victoria, Jesus Christ. Come on. Right? I thought we had an agreement. But if he sues the Daily Beast, they are going to provide evidence. And they are going to dig deeper and deeper into his ass during the discovery to verify that evidence. It's already pretty well verified, considering the signature. And again, the very serious bank deposit slip. That's a big fucking deal. But if you want to keep going, dog, like maybe in discovery, they find another one. You sure you want to do this? Like they're investigative journalists. I think that's a bad idea.
Like he's set to lose anyway, because if he were to sue them as the plaintiff, like the burden on proving that the story is bullshit, as more likely than not, which is the standard of proof in a civil suit, that burden's on him. Like he needs to have evidence to disprove the fact that like no, like I can assert that this is not the case.
Yeah, you can't unfuck a light bulb, my guy.
Yeah.
Like, best of luck. So, no, I don't think he's going to sue. I think he thinks that using those words, right? Using those words is just a buzzword for he must be true.
Yeah, he knows people see the statement that's like, oh, I'm going to fucking sue him, and then they won't read the story on page 10. That's like, oh, actually, not so much.
Nah, no, you're not. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do it at all. But. Hell of an opener. Like I said, I hope to God that this debate does happen, because I know you think that he's going to want to pull out because this isn't going good for him right now. And B, like, I cannot wait until the subject of abortion comes up. And I pray, like I said, not a religious man, but I fucking pray that they go to Warnock first. And they're like, well, I don't know what the debate is here about abortion. Like, but I support it, and so does my opponent. Like he had one. We're done here. This section doesn't need to be a debate.
Yeah.
I also believe it's a woman's choice.
Yeah, like we're apparently in total agreement on this issue. I believe it's a woman's choice, and and Herschel Walker actually encourages abortions to happen.
He pays for them, ladies. He pays for them. He's a decent dude. I just don't. I think if this story has legs, and by legs I mean more abortions, or if it's still a hot topic. But if it's still a hot topic into next week, I don't see how that dude lets that debate happen, dude. I don't think so.
Not only that, there's going to be just more Herschel Walker stuff coming out of the woodwork.
There always is. There always is. So, we shall see, man. Holy shit. What a great story. Okay, so next up. So there was a relief bill that came up that was going to help people with different states with natural disaster issues and stuff like that. Hurricane Ian obviously happened in Florida, did tons and tons of damage. This money was also going to go to Floridians for help with that. And a lot of Floridian politicians voted against this. And I'll tell you why. Because they do have a reason. It's a shitty reason, but they have a reason.
Yeah.
Senator Rick Scott was among the minority, along with the minority, and 25 Senate Republicans voted against the legislation. As did every Florida Republican in the House, including those representing storm-torn areas. And then Marco Rubio was absent for the vote.
Yeah,
well.
Senator's one thing. If you represent the district,
you're wilding, dude. That's
like, what
crazy.
are you doing? Like, what the fuck how are you going to go home? Not that you will, but like, how are you going to go to your constituents and be like, well, I couldn't vote for the relief package because there was other shit in there that was crazy. Like what else is in there? Oh, other disaster relief for other states. Like if this was a Florida only bill, like this would have been awesome. Yeah.
Their big one though is they didn't like that there was money being spent to help Ukraine. That was the big,
of course,
because in the fight for freedom around the world, we're backing Russia for some reason in the Republican
we
Party.
are not backing Russia. Republicans are backing.
No,
Russia.
I'm saying in the Republican Party.
Yes. Yeah. Like you saw that tweet that CPAC put out the other day that they then hastily deleted, right?
Oops.
It's like, Russia said they've annexed these 4 areas of Ukraine. We're like, oh, we're just going with what Russia says now. Okay, cool.
Did you see what Elon Musk put out?
I did. What a fucking idiot!
What an
every
idiot.
time that dude's and like his take was so historically bad, and he got dunked on so hard by Ukrainian politicians that he's like, actually, I am still on Twitter. Like the next day,
Yeah, he's like just something else to talk about with me. Just fucking talk about something else. Yeah, like he basically, for folks who didn't see it, he was like, well, why don't we just have an agreement that Ukraine just cedes Crimea to Russia, and like we just it was like a couple other things, and like that's how we'll come to the negotiating table. Like they'll just cede part of their country. You're just giving up part of the country just because they took it. What the fuck kind of rules are those, dude?
Spoken like a white guy from South Africa, I gotta say.
Touche. There's nothing I can say about that. That's 100% correct. Like, dude, the level of fucking bullshit, like coming out of his mouth over that is absolutely crazy. Like, dude, what are you talking about? I'm trying to find the exact tweet because it's pretty embarrassing. This is his Ukraine peace plan.
His 4-step plan for peace in Ukraine.
Oh wow, so easy.
If only you let me negotiate. I am a savvy businessman after all.
Like again, I need you to shut the fuck up, man. Like I need you to stick to the cars and fucking hyperloop bullshit. Like just stick to that.
Meanwhile, number one, he can't even stick to that shit. He can't get anything fucking built anyway to save his life.
No.
But I also like how he's saying this as if Ukraine needs to limp to the bargaining table as they're busy pushing Russia out of areas of the country that they formerly took over.
Like, dude, they are actually pushing them back into Russia. Why the fuck would they cede Crimea to them? Oh, you got it, bro. Like, no. And look, so okay, here's Elon Musk's moronic view. Ukraine-Russia peace deal. Redo elections of annexed regions under UN supervision. Russia leaves if it is the will of the people. One, let's just stop right there. Stop trying to come up with regular ass people rules for a country run by a guy who doesn't give a fuck about the rules. You think Vladimir Putin is going to be like, oh, the UN said I can't stay here. Well, I guess it's time for me to go, guys. And that will never happen. That's dumb. Crimea, formerly part of Russia, as it's been since 1783 until Khrushchev's mistake. Irrelevant about anything to do with Khrushchev, anything to do with 1783. It's not a part of Russia now. You can't just fucking cede it.
Also ignores, I don't know, the entire fucking period between 1945 and 1991. Kind of a lot
Irrelevant.
happened in that part of the world, just FYI.
Yeah, irrelevant.
Yeah.
Look, he's got 300 words, man. Like he don't got time for all that. Like again, it's not a history lesson. Knock it off.
Like you said, we're going with 1783 fucking borders. Then get your ass back up to fucking Holland, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, like
Get the
dude,
fuck out of here.
like again, what kind of logic is that? Like what kind of crazy logic is that? Water supply to Crimea assured. Okay. And the last is, and this to me, this last statement, it's only 3 words, but it is very crucial to understand the perspective of conservatives, right? He says, I used to be liberal, but then the liberals went crazy and then I became a conservative. That doesn't make any sense. That's dumb. You don't change your entire ideology. You might change your party, but you don't change your ideology.
You became conservative because you got rich and you wanted to protect your money.
That's
correct.
basically
all that
fucking tax cuts, baby. Let's go. That's what it's all about. He says his last point: Ukraine remains neutral. Ukraine is literally trying to fast track its way into NATO, right? Because they want fucking protection.
Decided to just up and invade them.
Right. But you want them to remain neutral. Why? So that they can continue to be subjected to violence from Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is a classic right wing mentality, right? This idea of Russia doesn't want NATO on its border. NATO exists to keep shit like this from happening.
Right.
NATO
and
isn't
also achieve
balling into bum rushing into countries and taking them over. That's not what happens. This never happens.
And essentially what he outlines is basically the Vladimir Putin wish list for what he wanted to happen in
exactly.
Ukraine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Except for that
just
first
concede
one,
everything that Russia wants. That's fine.
Yeah, well, they're really big. Yeah, they're really big. They're run really, really shittily, which is why Ukraine, a country that everyone thought, including me, frankly, thought was going to get run over in 2 weeks or even less by Russia, is kicking the shit out of the Russians right now.
Yeah, meanwhile, less than a year later, Russia's forcibly pulling people out of igloos in Siberia to be like, you gotta go fight. And be like, I don't even live on this side of Russia. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I hate you, Chechens. Go fight for me. No, we hate you, dude. So
I don't know how we got to Russia Ukraine politics. It spun off from a story about Florida hurricane aid, but
no, it's because that was in the aid, right?
Oh yeah. Safe to say that we're the only political podcast in the world probably that connected those two things together.
Smart.
This is the content you come for.
That's right.
To this show.
You don't remember any of it, but it's the content you come for.
That's right.
Yeah, but I just think it that idea of just ceding everything to what, like you said, Vladimir Putin's wish list is such bullshit. It's just such bullshit.
I did also really enjoy the picture of Ron DeSantis's very pristine, clean-looking white boots that he had as he was patrolling around Florida today. As
dude,
people pointed out,
so fucking ridiculous. Look, Andy sent, I think, the best tweet to you and I by Andrew Hammond on Twitter. Said, is a picture of him wearing those ridiculous boots and said, when you're a politician, but you got to defend the NWA tag team titles at Starrcade 85. He looks insane. He looks absolutely insane. I compared his look to the one cop from Reno 911 when he comes out with the white cowboy boots. He looks nuts. Look, man, you got to stop. You guys got to stop historically making fun of Democrats looking goofy when they wear funny clothes. This, okay, this should destroy him.
It's the new gold standard. Like I said, whoever he's running when he's running debating against Charlie Crist. I hope Charlie Crist has this on a slide, right, ready to fucking show.
Look at this guy. Look at him. Look at the boots.
Walking around with boots like he's obviously not going in any areas that were seriously damaged because there's not a spot of dirt on him. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, and he's not wearing waders, right? He's just got the high boot game on. He looks at least if you're gonna get the photo out, man, at least rub some mud on those things, man. Make it look like you've been doing something.
I got to tell you, man, that's the part of politics I will never understand. Is you're literally going to take this picture, you look like a clown. You look like a clown. And I couldn't fake the dirt thing either, because I would be like, this feels stupid. Like, I just wouldn't talk to the press. I would just go help people, like, for real, and then afterwards, then I would talk to the press. I'm not gonna talk to the press.
Let them get like the candid shots of
like,
you doing stuff. Like,
fucking shoveling.
Don't do this. Don't do this staged fucking like I'm talking to the people on the ground bullshit. Like, no,
yeah, don't do that. It makes you look like an asshole. It does. Look, you gotta do the Cory Booker move, right? Like, you gotta be a man of the people, like literally running into burning buildings and saving people, like quite literally. Like, that's the shit you gotta do. And then people go, yeah, all right, that guy's no joke. Like, a lot of people don't know that, like, that story, Cory Booker, like, quite literally, when he was when he was in New Jersey, like in where's he from in Jersey?
He was the mayor of fucking
Newark,
Camden. Oh, he's mayor of Newark. I thought he was mayor.
No. It's the worst part of Jersey. It's Newark. And yeah, he was, and like he would literally like go. He like went into a burning building and like saved somebody's like kid or their cat or some shit, crazy shit like that. It was wild. We're like, dude, you don't have to do that. Like, they got fire. Like, they got a fire chief. He was like, nah, fuck that. He's like a real life superhero, man. He's like helping people. Like, I remember there was a story about Booker, and then we'll move on. He like literally went on a local radio show. He was like, listen, if you're stuck, like they had a big snowstorm. He's like, if you're stuck, I will come and I will shovel. I will help shovel. And some guy like called it, was like, bullshit, you're not gonna do anything. And he was like, yeah, what's your address? And he fucking showed up and like shoveled the guy's girlfriend out and like called him out. It was like, yeah, I did. I shoveled your girlfriend's car out and you didn't do shit. It was like, oh. Ooh.
The thing that I just don't understand, like, if you live on any of the like coastal areas of this country or in the southern border, or if you like represent areas that are like in like the plains in the middle of the country, you should never, ever, ever, ever vote against disaster relief. It makes
no sense, dude.
Stupid move, because it's going to happen to your state eventually, and you don't want to be caught holding the bag. People pointed out rightly that when DeSantis was in Congress, he voted, I think, against Hurricane Sandy relief when he was in the House.
Did. Yep, he did.
So, like, bro, you're like, you represent Florida. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like there's gonna be a hurricane tomorrow. Like, what the fuck? Like, why are you voting against this?
There are multiple ones every year. Like,
yeah.
So Floridians, you got to pay attention. I know meth is great. You guys are having a great time down there. Pay attention, God damn it! Like, come out of your fucking haze for a second and pay attention. These guys don't give a fuck about you.
They don't. And again, yeah. Rick Scott, like, he doesn't have to run again for 4 fucking years, so he doesn't give a fucking shit.
Nope.
Rubio didn't vote no, but he also wasn't there to do the vote. But at least Val Demings can't hang, a no vote around his neck.
But she should vote no. But as far as I'm concerned, who gives a fuck? Not showing up is just as bad. You didn't even show up. Because look, that's actually from a political hit perspective, that actually plays worse for Rubio. You couldn't even show up to help.
He didn't show up because he was on the ground in Florida. And you can make the argument that that's not your job, bro. Like, get back to DC and fucking vote on this shit. But at the same time, like, at least it's not like he was in Cancun, like visiting family while his constituents were freezing. So
nah, you could do more. You could help more than just look. Cory Booker, like we talked about, shoveling snow and shit like that. That's fine, but like when it comes time to like funding, that actually helps more. Yeah, that helps.
Like go to your job, go vote. Like that. That'll get the money down. Then you can come down with the money in hand and be like, "Look what I got you guys!" And
yeah,
start.
You're welcome. Right? Out. Yeah, like so. 2 ways. But nah, to just be on the ground. So you look, that was strategic on Rubio's part. Mm-hmm. Like to be on the ground so he can get the photo op, which I'm not mad at. Right? If it's honest work, I'm not mad at the photo op. But to then skip the vote so you don't have to be like, well, I spent all this money, to give to Florida and these other states and shit like that. I think that's fucked up. Fucked up. And again, we're supposed to be a United States of America. You're supposed to help the other states, even if you don't fuck with the governors of those places or the large percentage of the constituency and how they vote. Look, I don't care for how the people of fucking Florida voted in the last, presidential election, or the previous one, or almost all of them. But I don't want to see people like get their houses knocked down and just be like, well, fuck those people. Like, that's dumb. Like,
I mean, but just so you guys were read, I think I saw on the conservative self-owned Twitter page that like someone tweeted out a story about like, how Joe Biden promised the, like residents of Puerto Rico that he was gonna, secure funding to help them for disaster relief for stuff in the future. And the reply to that was saying, Joe Biden needs to cut the shit out and actually do something for Americans.
What? All right. We're just saying anything at this point. Like we're just saying anything. Like just to see what'll pop off. Yeah. So next up, all right.
I did not read anything about the story. I just saw the headline and I was just like, well, sure, we're gonna be talking about this week, so I'll wait to be surprised.
All right. So first, let's play what I would argue is.
Oh, that's right. We have clips. I forgot about that.
Yeah, one of the best ads of this cycle. Look, how old is John Fetterman?
It is early 50s, I do believe.
Is he?
Yeah, he's like 51 or 52.
Oh, oof. A rough life, buddy. He's got some city miles. John Fetterman.
He's a real person, Jay. He's not some glamorous politician.
Well, sorry. I mean, you can't just eat fancy vegetables and guacamole all day.
Right. Before we get to this clip, what is the percentage chance that if John Fetterman becomes governor, he will show up the next time like WWE is in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh or something like that?
100%.
Will he take a bump or will he deliver like a choke slam to somebody?
He's got to deliver a choke slam. He's got to deliver.
Yeah, he's like 6'8".
Yeah, you got to give that man a choke slam. Yeah, like I need it to be a a Dr. Oz like stand-in, right? Like there's got to be a wrestler. There's got to be some sort of wrestler that's got like a doctor like bit, right? Like, hey, eat goji berries, and he's just like, oh god, boom. Like, yeah, that's what I want. But then the Republicans will be like, that's political violence. Like, relax.
Like there's a wrestler that's a Republican fucking mayor out in Tennessee. Shut up.
Yeah, knock it off. Is that Kane?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you fucked up. I swear, when I first saw John Fetterman, I thought that's who that was. I was like, what the fuck? Like, he's running for Senate?
Why is Kane running for Senate in Pennsylvania? It's so weird.
Like, what are you doing? So John Fetterman, his team, I don't know, man. They're pretty goddamn brilliant because
this is what happens when you hire fucking 20-somethings like young millennials and like Gen Zers to run your social media accounts.
Yeah,
they are with it, and it's very genuine.
Yeah, too good, man. This is too good. So this is John Fetterman's his ad about Dr. Oz.
Everybody. With my diet, you can eat all you want, anytime you want.
And you'll lose weight?
You might. It's a free country.
I've got the #1 miracle in a bottle to burn your fat.
Lose fat without diet or exercise?
Stubborn stomach fat instantly disappears.
I recommend a slow, steady gorging process combined with acid horizontology.
Garcinia cambogia extract.
Crystal sonic therapy.
C. buckthorn.
Dr. Nick, this malpractice committee has received a few complaints against you.
Dr. Oz being sued for advice he gave to viewers who struggle falling asleep.
Dr. Oz is being accused of promoting quack treatments by some top physicians.
Are you looking for a way to slash the cost of your medical expenses?
How much did you pay for a pill that takes your body back 10 years?
Call 1-600-DOCTORB. The B is for bargain.
His empire and wealth have flourished.
The most rewarding part was when he gave me my money. Bye-bye, everybody.
It's so perfect.
I love that he even used the fucking ending. He even used the ending from The Simpsons. That's awesome. The credit scene. This
It's
is
so
genius.
perfect.
This
Yeah,
is genius.
like yeah, it's I mean, again, like, it's one thing to call, Dr. Oz like a quack TV doctor. It's another thing to compare him with the greatest example of a quack, the greatest lampooning of a quack TV doctor of all time, in Dr. Nick Riviera.
Like,
did you also go to Hollywood Backstage Medical School?
I love that. And I'll lose weight. Sure, it's a free country.
You might.
You might. Dude, that is such a good character. But again, you're right. This is when you hire quality people. Like, we are entering, like, the joke on the internet is like, oh, the meme wars. Like, the left doesn't know how to meme or the right doesn't know how to meme. Nah, dude. Like,
you're saying the left doesn't know how to meme.
Yeah, I don't know why they say that. But, like, you're entering into, like, Fetterman, like you said, is in his early 50s. You're entering into this zone. And that's a disaster for Republicans who age significantly, skew significantly older, and Democrats skew significantly younger overall, right? This is not good. This is not good. No. Like, because everyone knows the incompetent Dr. Nick Riviera. Everyone knows, like, even if you don't watch The Simpsons, you'd be like, hello, everybody. Like, everyone knows that, like, everyone knows it. What the fuck is Dr. Oz going to say to that? Like, it's a disaster, right? And everybody knows he sells a bunch of quack bullshit. You're like, oh, eat goji berries to get fucking six-pack abs. Like, that's not how that works. But, like, this is a genius ad.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that this is a very good ad by a Democrat and that this is the way things are going because I have a comparative ad that is also of note. And this is done by Republicans. So this is what's the woman's name?
Tudor Dixon is running against Gretchen Whitmer for governor of Michigan.
Yeah. So pay attention to the name that Brad said and notice the level of importance that is given in this ad. I swear to God, this is real. We didn't make this.
Hey, have you seen the TV ads with the governor talking about the great things she's done for Michigan?
She's a liar. Whitmer can say what she wants, but we live here. Just look around, man.
During COVID, Whitmer locked down businesses like the Owasso Barber and put one woman from Holland in jail. Oh, yeah. 3,000 restaurants closed. And she's pro-business?
Yeah, right.
And what about those higher gas and food prices?
Our schools were closed for almost 2 years. Poor kids.
Speaking of kids, Whitmer says she's gonna work like hell to keep killing babies.
And she put COVID patients in Graham's nursing home.
Graham died alone. Okay. I'm voting for the other chick. What's her name?
Tudor Dixon.
Okay, let's roll.
Watch out for potholes. Whitmer never kept her promise to
fix the damn roads.
Nailed it.
Yeah, what great natural actors they got. I mean, I guess that's the point, is that they got like normal everyday biker people.
Yeah, disaster. You shouldn't do that. Yeah. Hire professionals. I just love that. What's her name again? Like, see how low on the priority scale her actual name and who she is. They're just like, don't vote for Gretchen Whitmer. Like, that's it. They don't give a shit about the actual Republican. They just want you to vote in opposition because that's who their party is.
They're the anti-party.
Yeah, that's it. That is one of, like, very well done Dr. Nick Riviera ad by Fetterman's team. Horrendous ad by Pat Toomey. I don't remember. Tudor Dixon.
I'm a little disappointed
really
we didn't play the ad from the one woman in Utah that's running for some seat.
Oh, the rap lady?
The rap, yeah.
Oh, that one's pretty bad. I wrote on Twitter, I was like, wow, it's really sad that Jay-Z has this woman coming for the title as the greatest of all time. Like, and someone responded, it was like, Jay-Z has 24 hours to respond to this.
wonder if Yeezy's like sitting back watching that ad, like, this is the next big thing. Like, I gotta be your producer.
Yeah, well, he could wear his White Lives Matter shirt.
Right. It would fit right into Utah, I'm sure.
Don't get me fucking started on that guy. Jesus Christ. Me no like. Yeah. So those are just.
I will say it is a great ad because I actually like the Tudor Dixon ad does kind of like perfectly encapsulate the actual like fucking talking points that Republicans have with each other, like when they're talking to each other about politics. Like Governor Whitmer's gonna keep killing babies.
It escalated so fast. It was like she kept those kids home for 2 years. Like, yeah, there was a global pandemic. Kids were dying. Like, it's like, oh, speaking of kids, she fucking murders babies. Like, Jesus Christ, lady, like, take it easy.
I did really enjoy the directorial choice to have the one dude like turn like dead ass to the camera and be like, Graham died alone.
Dude, the first time I saw that, I fucking screamed. I was, holy shit, what is going on? That guy was like, he was like, I got this. Like,
that's right. This is my moment.
Yeah, and the director was like, no notes. Like, no notes. Just keep going. This is actually
there's no way I don't get fucking cast in the next episode of The Sons of Anarchy. Like, they don't do that show anymore, man. Like,
he's like, they're gonna bring it back for me. He's like, I'm gonna be on there. You're not. Yeah, they all just look like a bunch of pirate hookers. It's terrible. They all just look terrible. It's like the worst. Like it's like the worst. It's like the worst remake of American Ninja, like American Pirate. They've got like the multicolored ninjas. Like this time they have multicolored pirates. They all look dumb. They're really dumb.
I mean, and again, all they have to do is just make sure that, you know, none of the votes in Detroit get counted, and they're good to go.
Yep, they got it. Yeah, at last I think I saw it was like Whitmer has like a double-digit lead. Like she's gonna kick the shit out of this person. Yeah, and I think it was the same candidate who brought up the fact that about the kidnapping plot. And
yes,
like
yes, that
was
her. Where she's like, you know, she loves kidnapping so much that she's kidnapping like businesses.
It was like, dude, really, really poor taste. Like who on your team was like?
People literally pled guilty to the crime, my friend.
Yeah, like I don't know if they wanted to murder her. You know, like that's just not a joke. Like, why would you think that's acceptable to say? Like, again, as a Republican, you should be like, this is unacceptable, and I'm glad. Like, that could be a thing that you could come together on, and you'd actually come across as mature. But they're like, yeah, let's make a joke about her being kidnapped. Like, why would you make a joke about that? Like, she could have died. Like, that's fucked up. I don't like if she was a Republican and a bunch of crazy vegans, I would assume, would be like, we gotta kill the governor. I'd be like, that's not cool. They should go to prison for that. Like, yeah.
Everyone's out here talking about hang Mike Pence, but Mike Pence wants to hang small business owners with burdens of not as high tax. I'm like, what?
Like, please don't make that comparison. That's insane. Like, that guy's got a family. Like, he's a piece of shit, but like, I don't want to see that guy get like hanged on the town square. That's fucking terrible.
Mike Pence is tightening the noose around, you know, like, Jesus Christ. Like, there's figures of speeches we need to stay away from, guys.
Right, like, he's really taking the children's education to the gallows, if you will. Like, I'd rather we didn't. I'd rather we didn't say shit like that, please. It's not like a former president saying death wish when it comes to a person in his own party.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's not even in the fucking docket this week. Good Lord.
Wow, I read that. I was like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what is wrong with you, dude?
I like how he tried to lay like an ethnic slur against Elaine Chao and like couldn't even spell it correctly. I don't even know what he was going for. Like, that's how off it was.
Oh, his brain is full of worms as far as I'm concerned.
Speaking of which,
yeah, Trump sues CNN for $475 million, warns of more lawsuits in the weeks to come. All this tells me on the surface is that Trump needs $475 million.
It's an awful weird number. How did you arrive at that very specific number?
It's very specific. Like, why not 500 million?
Yeah, like, why not round it up to an even 5? Like, no, 475 is all I need. Like,
you know what? You know what it tells me? He actually needs like 425. Like, he wants $50 million. Like, he wants walking around money. No, he's broke. He's broke. That's he's broke, and or
excuse me, thrown out of his own company.
And with it should be and with. Yeah. Because the Truth Social, that shit is not happening, right? Like, his investors pulled like $140 million out of that deal. They were like, nah, we're good. Like, fuck this. Your fake Twitter is not going to be popping. So I think it's an and with. I think he wants to sue because he's broke and he needs money. So if he wins, great. And with, I think he wants attention.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm like, dude, there's a DOJ case. You're getting plenty of attention. You don't need to do this. Like, we can't stop talking about you, unfortunately for us. But former President Donald Trump said Monday that he is suing CNN for defamation, seeking punitive damages to the tune of $475 million. Trump said that he watched in disbelief as CNN allegedly... One, I don't believe that. Trump said that he watched in disbelief as CNN allegedly continued to broadcast false and misleading information about him for years. According to Reuters, Trump's 29-page lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court in Fort Lauderdale alleges CNN, quote, has used its considerable influence as a leading news organization to defeat him politically. Trump's Truth Social post echoed the sentiments. He basically says there's this ever more serious, scandalous, and false and defamatory labels of racist, Russian lackey, insurrectionist, and ultimately Hitler, the lawsuit claims. And Trump warns that in the coming weeks and months, there'll be more lawsuits of other fake news media companies. Look, best of luck. Go ahead.
I mean, he does realize that you can't just fucking sue a broadcast company and be like, you have an agenda against me, especially like if the people saying that shit are like political commentators and not like hosts delivering the news. You know what I mean? Like if they brought somebody on that's there to give an opinion, like
yeah, they say whatever the fuck they want.
You can't sue the fucking network for that. Sorry.
Yeah, and look, I linked in the docket because I think it's relevant. There's a very famous case argued in 1964, the New York Times versus Sullivan, and this went all the way to the Supreme Court. The general consensus here is, or the general story is, during the Civil Rights Movement, the New York Times published an ad for contributing donations to defend Martin Luther King Jr. on perjury charges. The ad contains several minor factual inaccuracies. The city's public safety commissioner, L.B. Sullivan, felt the criticism of his subordinates reflected on him, even though he was not mentioned in the ad. Sullivan sent a written request to the Times to publicly retract the information as required for a public figure to seek punitive damages in a libel action under Alabama law. The Times refused, eat shit, and claimed that they were puzzled by the request. Sullivan filed a libel action suit against the Times and a group of African-American ministers mentioned in the ad. A jury in Alabama awarded him $500,000 in damages. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, well, that means Trump can do it. Well, then the Supreme Court was like, no. That's not how this shit is going to work. Because the question was, did Alabama's libel laws unconstitutionally infringe on the First Amendment freedom of speech and freedom of the press protections? And in the end, it was a unanimous opinion. And basically the point is, to sustain a claim of defamation or libel, the First Amendment requires that the plaintiff show that the defendant knew that the statement was false or was reckless in deciding to publish information without investigating whether it was accurate. Them just saying you're a racist does not mean
or them just saying like people are reporting, or we brought this reporter on and they're saying this, like that doesn't rise to the standard. Like you said, it was a unanimous decision by the Warren Court that was like, yeah, this is fucking bullshit. Plus, like, if you're Republicans, let's just say,
is this a can of worms you want to open?
Yeah, like let's just say this goes forward. Trump somehow wins, and somehow like the Republican Supreme Court says, no, actually, you can sue news corporations for putting false information on the air. How many fucking liberals would be like, ooh, baby, like let's fucking bankrupt Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah, you're done.
Fucking go.
Fox News would be sued into oblivion. OAN and what's the other one? OAN and Newsmax.
Yes, Newsmax. Yes,
they would be sued into oblivion Because they don't just say like, oh, this is our opinion. They're like, these are like statements of fact. Like, all right, cool. Yeah. Like, they know shit is wrong and they lie on purpose. Like, there are things that are not only previously reported, like breaking news shit, but they'll lie about historical things.
Yeah.
I don't think you want this. Like, look, Trump will not win because what he's asking for doesn't.
I don't even think it's going to make it to court. I don't even think this will make it in front of a judge. Honestly, like you said, I think he's just attention getting. Like, he's looking for headlines to have his name in them, and that's all he wants. He's like, look, I'm fighting against the fake news. Like that's all he wants to be able to go up on a stump speech and say to his supporters.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And not only that, he knows that his constituents won't check on this.
Meanwhile, Mike Lindell's like fighting against Dominion right now, and he tried to kick it up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court's like, we're not even fucking touching this. Like get the fuck
he's like, they can sue you for $1.3 billion. Best of luck, Pillow Man.
Yeah,
you're fucked. You're proper fucked. And again, you can't look. All your crazy shit you say online is one thing. When you bring that shit into a courtroom, it doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work. You can't just like, and I don't think they should be allowed to sue me for fucking making up bullshit. Like, yeah, no, they can do that.
Well, and Trump's argument is like, oh, they're lying about me because they don't want me to be president again. Do you really want Jeff Zucker to like come in and be like, hey, like, actually, no, being president, it would be fucking amazing. Like, did you see our ratings while he was in the White House?
Yeah, it financially was the benefit.
Like, we were making all the money. Fucking A. Like, our ratings were through the roof. You kidding me?
Yeah, this makes no sense.
Yep.
And again, during that famous case, Brennan used the term actual malice to summarize this standard. Although he did not intend the usual meaning for a malicious purpose, in libel law, malice had meant knowledge or gross recklessness rather than intent. Since courts found it difficult to imagine that someone would knowingly disseminate false information without bad intent.
Yeah, turns out if you're like a reputable newspaper, like posting bullshit like without checking it or that you know to be false is not really a great business model.
No, it is not. So look, best of luck. Best of luck, dude. If you think that $475 million is going into your pocket, it is not. Okay, that's the end of the free portion for this week's episode of Look Forward. Make sure you go to lookforwardshow.com/premium. Sign up for premium content. It's only $5 a month or $50 for the full year.